Alright, in this video you get to see Super J come over and help me do the full layup on the inside of the hull of this boat. We're going to put a fresh layer of 1808 over everything. He's going to help me with the big one over the top of the tunnel down into the sponsons. I got to do the sides by myself, but we get it all laid up over all of my repairs and it comes out real nice. This drain hole I'm not going to put back. Instead, where the seat box goes here, I'm going to put a drain tube through the bottom of it so it can all just run to the back. I really don't like that hole in the bottom of the boat. And what I'm going to do is get my 1808, which is a double bias matting with a chop strand matting on the back, all cut and ready to go to lay up the entire inside of the boat. Right now it's just thin and I feel like it needs another layer to be reinforced. I have a helper to do this big layup tomorrow, so I'm going to prep for that. This surface is prepped and I want to have my pieces cut. I believe what I'm going to do is one piece over the top of the tunnel, and it's 55 inches wide, so it'll come down, land somewhere down in the sponson, and then another piece on the sides that comes to meet that. But it's a huge layup and it'll definitely be good to have a second pair of hands. So I want to be just ready to wet it and roll it all out while I have that second pair of hands tomorrow. So we've got a dry layout, cut and prepped. I've marked a line on the center here to help me realign this, and on both sides all the way down where the side is meant to land, I've marked that as well. I'm going to roll these pieces up, and just before we actually lay them out and glass this all in, I'll clean the whole thing again with solvents and Make sure we're just super prepped. Do the center piece and then the two side pieces. We got Super J from Brightworks, and we're about to do the biggest layup I've ever done. We're gonna get the glass in the whole bottom of this boat. Time to mix resin and go.
Yay!
All right, Super J.
1 full minute.
A whole minute of stirring.
Set the timer.
We're using a red slow hardener for this so that we have a bit more work time. It's supposed to double the work time and still cure proper, so we'll see how that goes.
Hey, it turned colors.
I can just reuse this several times, right? Yeah. Should be okay. It's supposed to turn colors. If it didn't, we'd be in big trouble.
All right, you need a roller ready?
It's ready. Why don't you start rolling and I'll mix another one. I want to see your methods, the proper wetting out. Super J. Yeah.
Look at that.
Get it all in there. Yeah.
Good to the last drop, like Folgers in your cup.
Oh yeah.
Maybe this will not go that far.
I don't think it's gonna go all that far. But we got a fiver of it, so, you know. Here we go. We need a new tray at this point. New tray and roller. I feel like we do.
You're packing up?
Yeah, it's gelled in the bottom.
Yeah.
So the middle section's done. Super J is gone. No more helper. I think I can tackle the sides myself. So I better get after it. It's just going to be a way better boat. Having another layer in there, it's going to make a big difference in the strength and rigidity of it. So the centerpiece and this side piece came out real well. I had a couple small air pockets, but nothing serious. It just looks real nice. Got the whole boat with a fresh sheet of glass. Quite good. I haven't got this side on yet though, because up here we did have one large air pocket, and so I've cut it out with a razor blade, but I'm going to have to take the grinder and this white spot, all of that back to here. So what happened was the matting ripped off when we were putting it in all through here, the top layer of the matting, and then when we were laminating it in, it moved around too much and caused air pockets. I don't want to leave them. These are probably okay. I can't even with the scissors poke into them, but there's air in there and I just want to get rid of it all. So I'm going to grind that away and patch it. Then I can go ahead and lay up the last side. So I thought I had this area in the front here where we had air all ground out well, but I missed a few spots. Things like this just can't be there. Boy, where that top layer of matting was ripped up, this just did not laminate well. So I got to do a bit more grinding and then clean up again. I've sanded and scuffed down here so that I am ready to do this layup. Everything else went really well. You know, my repairs came out real good. No air in them. You can still see through where my white tape is on the bottom. But there were a few areas that I was concerned about, like this, where there was some pitting and some really weird stuff going on in the glass below. And it all turned out really well. The resin went down in there nice. No air pockets. And I'm happy. But this area needs to get fixed, and then I think what I'll do is my big layup on this side so I can have this all finished, and then I'll put a patch over the top of these two pieces where they come together to take care of where I had air. Okay, sanded. Now we'll prep it, clean everything with acetone. May not be perfect everywhere, but this is the inside of the boat. We're not gelling over it. We've got the whole rest of the boat in between. If there's a tiny air bubble here and there, well, perfection just isn't possible. This may be a small air pocket near the surface, but that's not going to hurt anything. There's no way it's going to crack. There's no impact happening there. And if you remember what this looked like when I ground it, there were huge air pockets in their laminate everywhere. So I can't just keep grinding every tiny air bubble I find because, well, like I said, perfection's just not possible. I think we're in really good shape here, and I'm going to go for a cleanup, my big layup on the side, and a patch over the top here where I had a big air pocket. And the rest just looks really good. I've got her mostly cleaned up here. One more acetone wipe down, and I'll be ready to start laying up again. You might notice I changed shirts. I don't want to wear a shirt I've used for grinding and sanding that can have dust and contaminate my resin while I lay this up. So yeah, I use compressed air and clean myself up and change shirts quite frequently. I sort of have this one that's just a long sleeve shirt to wear when I'm putting glass on. Make sure it stays dust free and everything remains clean and I get a good laminate everywhere. I've noticed that this 1808, which is a little bit thicker matting on top than 1708, same thing though, is very difficult to wet out from the top side. But on a big layup like this, I've talked to several people, including the distributor, and they say that's the way. You lay it up dry fit it, and go ahead and wet it out from the top. And with that, the hull of this boat is finally ready to have a core added, the floor added. Then I can fix up the sides, flip it over, and get to the real fun bits. This part's not so bad. I added a little bit too much resin there at the end, so I kind of had to drag it up over the top. I just kept looking at stuff, and I know by now that the hull is discolored and it's difficult to tell where the air is. That stuff like this was an air bubble, and it's not. It's coloration just like in there. And you can poke at it and tell that there isn't air in there. Other than that, it came out real good. Ended up being quite a few repairs. They came out nice, and a whole layer of 1808 over the hull of this. Well, I really thank you for watching. I appreciate it greatly. Soon you get to see how I accomplished this crazy piece of flooring with all its strange angles so that it can actually be flat against the tunnel and up the walls and solid and weigh very little. That's pretty cool. I've got the other piece of flooring made too. Some coring will go in the Panther. Little sneak peek, I'm working on this Glastron here, a super sweet CVX 20. We'll put a little video of that up. This is kind of a show boat, just a really cool old Glastron. So that's what's coming. Do me a solid and push that subscribe button and keep watching. Every day is for boats.